Hello and welcome. My name is Andy Crook, and my mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. How do I do that? I go live most weeks on a topic from one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it. This week, we're back in the marketing pillar, and we're talking about designing the hook. This topic builds on 2 subjects I've already covered. First was headlines, where I suggested that 80% of the effort should go into the headline and only 20% into the content. Why? Well, if nobody reads the content, it doesn't matter how good it was. And then second, and more recently, I did a training topic called Hook, Retain, Reward, where I explained that in a crowded room, the hook is the thing that gets the head turned. It gets attention, it stops the scroll, but it only gives you permission to speak. It's not success on its own. So today, I want to join those 2 ideas together because the headline gets attention. The hook is what makes people stay. The headline is the front door. The hook is what happens when you step inside. And if you get this wrong, you can have a brilliant headline and still lose the customer almost immediately. So today we're going to look at what a hook really is, why most garages get it wrong, how to make it better, and as always, we'll finish with some atomic actions that you can use this week. So let's get stuck in. In the headlines topic, I said we live in an attention economy, and attention is scarce. People are busy. People are distracted. People are being constantly bombarded. So your headline has one main job. It needs to stop the scroll. That's it. But what I didn't tell you was stopping the scroll is just the start. Because the second someone stops, the next question in their head is this for me? And that's the job of the hook. The headline gets the click or the view or the head turn. The hook earns the next few seconds. And those next few seconds matter because if the next line is weak, vague, boring, or too technical, or all about you, then they're gone. They turn back around and in that crowded room, and they just carry on with their own conversations. And that's why the hook matters. The hook is the first thing that makes the customer understand this matters to me. The part of the message that creates relevance. It connects the thing you want to say with the thing they already care. And that's important because customers are not sat there thinking about your workshop all day. If they're thinking about their car, what they're thinking about is probably this. They're probably thinking a warning light, the possible cost, the stress, the school run. What if it breaks down? That strange noise. How long is it going to take? Whether they can trust you, whether they're about to be hit with a massive bill. That's really what's in there. So if your content starts with, here's a BMW we had in today, or busy one in the workshop, look at this bit of kit, another job done, that may interest you, or it might interest other mechanics, but it doesn't answer the customer's question, what's in it for me? And if it doesn't answer that question quickly, then it fails. Garages often mistake information for connection. And this is where a lot of garage website and social media content simply falls down. The garage think they must tell the world they have the skills, the tools, and the knowledge. But that's of no interest to the customer. That's the garage's point of view, not the customer's. And those points of view are very, very far from the same thing. Garages think interesting stuff is the new smoke machine, the scan tool, the strip thread, the snap spring, the carbon buildup, or even the coding. The customer is only interested in, can you solve my problem? Perceived likelihood of achievement. How much will it cost? The effort and sacrifice. How long will it take? The time delay. And can I trust you? Are they going to get the desired outcome? Now, if you listen carefully to the 3 definitions of value, topic we covered a few weeks ago, you would recognize those as part of Hormozi's perceived value equation. And garages, more often than not, create what I call ego content instead of customer value content. Garage ego content says, look what we did. Customer value content says, this is why it matters for you. And the shift you need to make is that. And the hook is what starts that shift. A simple definition, and this is the easiest way I can put it. A headline says, look at this, and a hook says, this is why you should care. And that's the difference between a hook and a headline. Once you understand, your marketing starts to improve because you stop trying to be clever and you start being clear. The best hooks do three things. And a strong hook usually does one or more or all three of these things. It points to a problem, something the customer wants to avoid. It points to an outcome, something the customer wants to achieve. And it creates curiosity, not clickbait, but just enough intrigue to make them want the next line. So, for example, most expensive repairs start with one wrong guess. It points to a problem. The cheapest repair is the one done right first time. That points to an outcome and challenges a belief. Ignoring the service light isn't always cheaper. That creates curiosity based on your solution. None of those started with the garage. They all start with the customer's world, and that's why they would work better. The hook is not the who message. The hook does not need to explain anything. The hook just needs to earn the right to the next line. That's all. Because a common mistake people make is they try to cram the who message into the first few sentences. They tell them about the service, the problem, the price, the proof, the plan, the call to action. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's all too much. The hook is not there to do the whole job. The hook is there to open the loop, to make the customer think, I'd like to know more. So let's look at a couple of examples, because a lot of garages struggle to sell diagnostics probably because they talk about diagnostics from the garage point of view. And you'll see posts something a bit like this. We offer advanced diagnostics for all makes and models. It's not terrible, but it's not a hook. It tells me what you do. It does not tell me why I should care. So let's see if we can improve it. Let's go through a few versions, a couple of iterations to see how we can build on that basic idea. So version 1, we offer advanced diagnostics for all makes and models. Very business-like, but very flat. So how would you change that? On to version 2. We help drivers find the fault before wasting money on parts they don't need. Now that's better, but it's not really about the customer. So let's try a different version, version 3. Changing parts before testing properly can get expensive, fast, stronger because we've added risk. Version 4. Most expensive repairs start with one wrong guess. That's stronger again. It's short, it's sharp, and it's easy to understand. So version 5. Don't pay for guesswork. Pay for the right answer. First time, guaranteed. Now we've got something with punch. And can you see what happened there? Between the iterations, we move from what we do to why it matters. And that's the job of the hook. And once you've got them, the retained part of your content explains it, not the hook. The hook is just to open the conversation, to earn the right to the next line. Now, if you look at version 5 there, don't pay for guesswork, pay for the right answer, first time, guaranteed. The thing with punch there is someone is guaranteeing that the answer will be right. Very few, if any, garages open their diagnostic offer with something like that. So let's look at another one. Another one of my favorite topics when we're doing these things is air conditioning. And usually what we get is the boring version that most garages put out there. Air conditioning servicing is now available. That's information. It's not a hook. So let's think about it from the customer's point of view. What does the customer care about? They care that the car doesn't cool down. They care that the cabin smells, the windows mist, that summer's coming. Maybe the kids are in the back. The journey might be uncomfortable. So let's build a hook from their point of view. So version 1, if your aircon blows warm, smells bad, or struggles to clear the windscreen, It may need attention. Now that's better, but we can do better than. Version 2. Your aircon does more than keep you cool. It helps clear moisture from the cabin. It's still really about information, that. Version 3. Misted windows and bad smells are often your car's way of telling you the aircon needs help. Now that feels a little bit more relevant. So let's go on to version 4. Don't wait for the first hot day to find out your aircon stopped doing its job months ago. That's probably the strongest one. And why? Because it connects the problem to timing. It makes it feel real. It's not simply we do aircon. A hook is a problem you recognize, and that's what gets people thinking. Is this for me? So if someone is worried about their aircon, that might remind them they're looking to get it sorted out. But what about MOT and servicing? Now, you often see when it comes to MOTs, things like this. Book your MOT today. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't really hook any attention. It doesn't earn the right to the next line. Now, let's look at it once again from the customer's point of view and think about real customer pain. Pain is not the MOT. Pain is leaving it too late, losing the use of the car, failing the MOT when you still need the vehicle tomorrow. That's the real problem. So why not address that with your hook? Book your MOT now is just simply too plain. Leaving your MOT too late can make a simple task stressful. Now that's better, but we can make it better. An MOT failure is one thing. Finding out when you still need the car tomorrow isn't. Now that's stronger because it talks about the problem. The best time to deal with your MOT is before it becomes urgent. Now that's simple. It's good. It talks about the problem. It's getting the customer thinking. But probably the best version is this one. The worst time to fail the MOT is when you need your car most. Now that does two things. It hooks attention and creates curiosity. It also uses the fact that we are motivated to avoid a loss than to get a win. So they're good examples of how you can take one of your previous posts and start to improve it gradually, because you're not going to be expert at this immediately. You're going to probably find you have to iterate. So what should garages stop doing? Because if you want stronger hooks, there are a few things garages need to stop doing. They need to stop starting social media posts with yourself. We are pleased to announce no one cares. Stop assuming the customer cares or understands the technical details, because they don't. And stop posting just to fill your feed, because posting more of the wrong thing does not fix the problem. You need to post better content. As I said before, if your content doesn't reward people, you train them to ignore you. You become wallpaper. And once that happens, even the good stuff gets missed. That's why precision matters more than just frequency. If you want a very simple framework for designing hooks, then try this. Problem plus consequence plus curiosity. Problem plus consequence plus curiosity. So for example, that warning light may not be the expensive part. Guessing what caused it usually is. Now, that's problem, the consequence, and it creates a bit of curiosity. Or this. Leave that noise too long, and the repair may cost you more in the long run. Again, that's the same pattern. The problem, the consequence, a little bit of curiosity. Most drivers only think about the aircon in the summer, but they've ignored the signs for months. Now, this one works because it feels true. Believable truth is often better than clever writing. And if you think of it like that, it's conversational. And we talked about conversational selling before. And that's because that probably is more believable than some of the others. So the real purpose of the hook is it's not there to show you how smart you are. It's not there to impress other mechanics. It's not there to chase vanity views. It's there to make the right customer know that this content is for them. In simple terms, headlines get the attention, the hook creates the relevance. So it wouldn't be the same without an atomic action. So the atomic action for this week is to rewrite one of your old posts. Take a post that you've already made, look at the first line. Ask yourself, is this about me or is it about my customers? And then rewrite it so it starts with the customer problem, not the garage activity. Use the problem plus consequence plus curiosity framework and make sure you have at least 2 out of those 3, because that's what makes a hook really strong. And the final takeaway, the big idea is this: the headline may stop the scroll, but the hook answers the customer's next question, which is always, what's in it for me? And if you can answer that quickly and clearly, your content improves. If you can't, it doesn't matter how good the rest of your content is, because they'll never stay long enough to see or hear it. So yes, headlines matter. And yes, 80% of the effort should still go into the front end, but the hook is also part of that 80%. It is the first few seconds after the head turn. It's where the attention becomes relevance, and relevance is what gives you the chance to build trust. Remember, if you should, you must, and what's stopping you is probably starting. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.